Ron, how would you describe Taylor's day?
Well, I'll tell you, he had some moments. He did some good things, a couple of valiant effort things, and unfortunately down in the red zone we didn't have anybody able to make a play, and that's probably the way I'd characterize it. I thought that first drive really was well orchestrated, did a nice job, and then unfortunately, you know, we had some other opportunities and we didn't capitalize.
Was there any talk of bringing him out in the second half when the arm, it looked like the elbow was hurting him, or did you want him to gut it out?
No, he was gutting it out. You know, I looked at him a couple times and he kind of gave me that nod that he was okay. So we left him in there, and you know, he tried to you know, do some things out there.
Any indication? You said you wanted to find a guy, maybe him, that could be a long-term backup.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, we're going to evaluate it. There are a lot of good things he did. I mean, it's early to talk about that or not, but we'll see how it you know, how it all looks on tape.
Does it make the evaluation more difficult when he's very clearly, you know, playing with an injury and also
Yes,
under extreme
it'll
pressure?
It'll make it, but you know, again, at the same time, you know, he did some really good things. So we had an opportunity to watch and see what he's capable of. You know, and again, if you want to judge him, you can judge him how he moved the ball up and down between the 20s. You know, I thought that was very well done. But again, you know, we got to be able to make plays.
Ron, how tough was that for everybody, but especially guys like Khalil?
Well, it's probably really
Peppers?
tough. I can't speak for those guys, but it was probably very tough. And it's unfortunate too, because you know they deserve better.
How tough was it for you?
Oh, it's tough. You know, again, you're watching an opportunity to win a football game, and you know you give up a play in the opening half. I mean that's you know, that was beyond me right there. That was unfortunate.
Yeah,
What
Ron,
did happen there?
Well, we had they ran a play action pass, and one of our safeties came out of his half. And you can't do that. I mean, you're a deep half safety. You have to hold your depth and stay deep, and that was unfortunate.
Did Rashawn come in for Mike after that play?
No, we were planning on rotating Rashawn to begin with, so that had nothing to do with the play.
I guess one of the bright spots this year has been McCaffrey, and today he became past the personal record for running backs. What was that like for you to watch that? And
Well, the young man's a tremendous football player, and we've got to make sure we shore up a lot of things. You know, there's some things that we can do most certainly on the offensive side to help him out, and to help our quarterbacks out as well. I mean, we've got some young wide receivers that, you know, have got to continue to learn and grow as football players. I mean, those guys are dynamic, they're playmakers. But we've got to continue to help them grow, and so that they can become playmakers down the field. You know, and we've got to be able to put the ball where they can go after it as well. So you know, there's some things that we have to grow into, and we're most likely going to work that way.
Ron, you said after the Saints game that you finally felt like you're in your wheelhouse, so you're comfortable calling plays again. How did you feel this Sunday?
I felt pretty good about it. I thought we had some opportunities. Unfortunately, we missed them. Defensively, we had some third downs that we should have converted. You know, we'll go back and look at it, and you know, maybe I could have made a different call. But you know, we'll see. Again, it's you know, I got to look at the tape before we start talking about what we can do and do better.
Your plus catch is 1,000 yards rushing. When you drafted McCaffrey at 8, did you expect it would look anything like this?
We expected him to be a playmaker and make plays, and that's what he's done for us. Whatever the numbers are, they are. But for the most part, he's the type of guy that we thought he was. We felt he could carry a good load. We are asking a lot of him, and I think, you know, going into next season, we'll have to take a look at some of the things that we can do to help him and take a little bit of load off of him.
Coach, despite a 7-game losing streak, what are some of the bright spots that you've seen within this team?
Well, it's been some of the development of some of the young players. You know, again, the young wide receivers. I mean, these guys are getting a lot of opportunity to play, probably play a little bit more than we had anticipated. The young DBs are playing a lot. Some of the young linebackers have gotten opportunities to play. I mean, it's about really kind of finding our footing as these young guys continue to grow and I think can become good players for us.
Ron, just in general, falling from 6-2 to 7 straight, I mean, you know, how disappointing is this, and anything you put your finger on why this has happened?
Well, it's a mix of things, and again, we'll go through an evaluation process, obviously, once it's all done. But probably the biggest thing, obviously, is we've got to take a look at, you know, being able to make plays and on all three phases of football, and that's the truth of it. I mean, you look at it, and we've got to be able to make plays when we have opportunities.
Ron, a couple weeks ago, when we were asking about the success that some teams have had with franchise quarterbacks, you mentioned getting the franchise quarterback in place, building the offensive line around that person, and then putting the playmakers in place. Do you feel that this team is going to be, in the future, prioritizing that offensive line, or do you feel that you have the players in place?
We'll have to see. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're going to lose, obviously, Ryan. So we're going to take a look at our center position. I mean, we like Tyler Larson. He's done some really good things for us. He got an opportunity to play guard today. because of Trey. For the most part, though, we've got some guys that we'll look at and see exactly how they fit and where they're fitting into it.
Coaches,
And I do feel good about, who we have, but again, we do have some holes to fill on both sides.
Coach, is there added pressure knowing that there's new ownership, and David Tepper obviously said his main focus is winning? Has there been added pressure for you and your staff because of those expectations?
There hasn't been any added pressure. Mr. Tepper's been very, very good about it, and he's not going around slinging anything around. He's been great. He really has. And again, the disappointment obviously is that we hadn't won, and I get that. I understand it because we are in the business of winning.
And on that note, Ian Rappaport had a report this morning that you would be back in 19. Has that been communicated to you?
No. Again, guys, at the end of the day, I'm not going to talk for the owner. You guys, you can't ask me questions that I don't know, those answers to. I mean, I don't know where Ian gets at, and I can't talk about whether or not he has or hasn't. So, again, big thing we all have to understand more so than anything else is that that's his decision, and Mr. Tepper's been great about everything. So, again, we're just going to continue to go forward and continue to work.
Coach, now that you guys are officially eliminated, and you mentioned Ryan, his last game could be Peppers and Davis next week. Will that be a big talking point, for you guys next week to get that final win of the season?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, you want to send guys out on the right note, and these guys are the types of guys that deserve it. I mean, they're good football players. They've had great careers here for this organization, and as far as who is and who isn't, I mean, you have to ask those guys. But as far as something like that, yeah, it's important that we do that.
Ron, you mentioned, we asked you about Eric Reed a couple weeks ago, but Kyle Love has also been a defensive player, it seems like, who's kind of under the radar by the nature of his position, but has really seemed to step up when his number is called and been productive all season. Is he someone you guys would like to have back next year as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, we've got some guys in place that we feel really strong about, and we got a good list of those guys. And, again, we'll go through the evaluation process and figure out who we think, fits as the right kind of guy for us, guys that can help us as we, try to get things reestablished and win football games.
Ron, the big plays up at the top, how much is that going to stick in your craw when you look back?
Very much so. That's probably the biggest thing that's going to, I'm going to have difficulty with, just because, we've tried to put ourselves in position to keep everything in front of us, and we've been doing, for the most part, a pretty decent job. It's just one or two flare-up, but, today it was really disappointing, mostly because of what the call was. I thought that was a call that was built for that type of play, and unfortunately we didn't execute it.
Coach, cameras caught Captain Mutterlin and Thomas Davis in a heated exchange on the sidelines. Is that a symptom of the losing streak and all the frustration kind of bubbling up?
That probably is a symptom of the frustration more so than anything else. And it was a little bit of a debate and discussion about what happened on the field and guys trying to get it straight. I mean, if you don't have passionate guys, then that's too bad. I mean, guys are going to get heated and upset about things because they want to win. That's why. And I'd rather have guys that want to compete. At the end of the day, they're made up. They're teammates. They're friends. They understand what it takes. And again, if you want guys that want to just sit there and on the bench and be a lump, then so be it. But at least those guys are passionate. They want to get it straight because they want to win. I'll take that.
Did you see that across the board today, Ron?
What?
Guys continuing to fight.
I'd like to believe so. And again, I'll watch the tape and make a determination on that.
Is there something that you can identify in the red zone? You guys have struggled on offense, haven't had trouble moving the ball, but once you get inside that 20, have had trouble actually putting it in the end zone. Is there something to identify there, or is it just kind of?
Well, there is, and there are things that we're working on. And like I said, once we get through with everything, we'll get an opportunity to analyze it, talk about it, discuss it, and get the corrections going. We're trying to correct it right now. We're trying to do things that we can to put the ball in the end zone, and unfortunately we haven't.
Ron, despite Kyle only playing a couple of snaps, if need be, are you confident with him going into the Saints?
I was happy with what we saw from Kyle. I mean, he was a little bit of you could see a little bit of the rookiness in him going. One thing he doesn't have to do is he didn't have to walk toward the sidelines to get the signals from the coaches because you got a headset on. So he could stay closer to the huddle because they'd give him the play call, and then he'd have to walk all the way to the huddle, and that'd take about 4 or 5 seconds. So a little bit of things to learn, but I thought Kyle handled his situation very well.
Ron, I think Christian took his first snaps off since week 9. With you guys mathematically out, is there a plan to get that look at Cameron Artis-Payne?
Well, I think it would be an opportunity to look at a few other guys as well. So we'll see as we're going forward. But, for the most part, we do want to play to win, and that's just pretty much it.